We're very honored to be on the desk with Robert Bender, a doctor over at Broadlawns, who specializes in geriatric medicine and memory center. And that's kind of what we want to focus on today, is that Broadlawns does have a place where you guys are focusing on what's happening with the brain.
Yes, we do. Everybody knows that as people get older, they have a big risk to develop one of the dementing disorders, the most common of which is Alzheimer's disease.
Yep.
And so for a long time being 40, 50 years, there's been a growing intensity in studying the brain, why people are at risk for this, what factors just with aging put the brain at risk. And one of the new ideas that has emerged is that the brain is much more plastic than we had ever imagined before.
And what does that mean? The brain is more plastic?
That means the brain can actually change for the better. And this is a big deal because when I was a kid in medical school, we were taught that once you get to be about 2 or 3, the brain is pretty fixed. You don't get a lot of new brain cells like you do in the skin or the gastrointestinal system. And so if you mess it up,
you're done.
You're out of luck, especially as you get older.
Right.
Well, all that's been thrown out the window. We get new brain cells every day until we die.
Wow.
And the trick is to try to use or keep those new brain cells functional so that we can use them and make our brains better.
I was going to say, if we're getting new brain cells all the time, why am I not remembering yesterday as much as I could when I was younger?
I think you're doing pretty well.
Oh, well, thank you, Doc.
But for those new brain cells to survive as we become mature adults, it appears that we need to be doing certain things.
Okay.
We definitely need to be doing physical exercise and learning new things for those new brain cells to survive. And interestingly enough, most of the new brain cells are actually formed in our memory centers. So this insight has led to the idea that we can do a lot more for ourselves.
Okay, so if I want to exercise my body, I know kind of how to do that. I can go to the gym, I can do things like that. How am I going to exercise my brain so I can get these new brain cells working?
The key is to learn new things.
Just learning
new facts.
New facts, okay.
And quite a while ago, a brilliant young neuroscientist did a hallmark study in England, in London, where she measured the memory centers in people that were taking a course to become taxi drivers in London, which apparently
it's very difficult.
Before GPS, it was a mind-boggling effort to remember all these streets. So, but it was also quite a lucrative job, so people wanted to do it. So they had a lot of people sign up. Only half of the people would pass the final exam. And this neuroscientist measured some of the memory centers deep within our brains called the hippocampi. And what she found was that those people that passed the test and were able to master all these complicated byways in London had actually grown their memory centers.
So while they were learning.
While they were learning.
I have a question for you. So I actually directed a special with Al Roker about Alzheimer's, and my aunt was just diagnosed with early onset at 64 Alzheimer's. My question to you is it you're saying that we have more memory cells? Is it just better diagnosing now? That it seems like there's more cases? Is it better diagnosing, or what do you think?
It may be, and also people, you know, Homo sapiens is living much longer than ever before. Our age span has increased over the last 50 years more than in the previous 30,000. So there may be a factor, we're just finding it more often, but age itself is a risk factor for losing our memories. And when we look at the modern culture, think about it, we work real hard to gain some mastery over a field, then after we gain mastery, we kind of level off and just do that same thing every day, we kind of plateau, and then when we retire, our cognitive activity may really go down. Our effort, our work at keeping the brain active.
Sure.
Even in the face of dementia, Alzheimer's disease, we feel that these interventions, exercise, learning new things, stress modification, socialization, a good healthy diet, and meditation can actually improve the brain even after a diagnosis has been made early in the course of the illness.
You're hearing more about meditation as being something good, and when people think about that, they think of spiritual things and Buddhism, and not necessarily. Just the physical, mechanical act of meditating can be good, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we've had a little study group here in Des Moines looking at this over the past 20 years, and the science behind meditation, or the science that tries to look at meditation, has just exploded. There's a doctor here in America named Andrew Newberg who has written several books, and the science is very strong. Meditation may be the magic bullet for brain wellness. It seems to allow the brain to be very alert and yet very calm at the same time, and that seems to be very healthy. There was just a recent article in Scientific American documenting the actual changes in the brain that occur with regular meditation.
Now, Doc, a lot of people are making money because they have apps like Luminosity, to throw out a name out there. Lumosity, thank you. That people, see, I'm already forgetting. That people can pay and do little games. Is that what we need to do so that we're exercising our brain?
The data on those games so far in the journals that I try to keep up with say they're not sure that they help if they are done in isolation. In other words, if you just take people, don't change their lifestyle at all, but just have them do Lumosity, it doesn't seem to be able to be documented that the brain changes. But our little research group seems to have found that if those things are done and people learn new skills, new facts, and exercise, follow a diet, stress management, socialize, and meditate, that they are a factor that can be helpful, but not so much in isolation.
What's the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's? Are they part of the same spectrum?
Good question. Dementia is a global term, like heart disease. So we think of 55 causes of dementia, which is a Latin word that literally translated means to lose oneself. So it is a dramatic development. Alzheimer's disease is far and away the most common cause. Throughout the industrialized world, it may cause 80% of the cases of dementia.
Well, Dr. Robert Bender, thank you so much for joining this morning. I feel like we could do a whole hour talking about the brain, but knowing that there's good evidence of showing how we can improve upon the brain even we're later on in life. So Jason, there's hope for you yet. And people can go to Broadlawns for more information on the work that you're doing over there, and realizing that you guys do have a memory center.
Yes,
so
we do.
There you go. Broadlawns.org for more details. Thank you, Doctor, for joining us this morning.